Good morning, everyone. Soon to be good afternoon. He is Greg Wolf. I'm Andy Serling, and this is the beginning of the boutique spring meet.
Yeah, very exciting. Wrapped
Very
up
exciting.
winter in a strange way, but we're going to kick off spring with a bang.
I picked a good day to take off, didn't I, on Sunday? Both Greg and Jonathan were texting me saying that it was shaking upstairs. It was so loud.
Yeah, I mean, we were the far end of
Right, opposite.
the
Quarter
building
mile
away from it. Yeah, and it was incredibly loud.
Yeah.
Windows were shaking. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is what it is, but we are back in action today. Track is fast, and we have 8 races, and of course Wood Memorial coming up on Saturday, a 13-race card. We added one of the races that was canceled on Sunday, and I think we're running like 4 of them on a 10-race card on Sunday as well, and doing everything we can to accommodate the people, obviously, that were unfairly affected by something out of our control, and should never have happened. But we are glad to be back in action. We'll head over to NYRA Bets. A lot of weather, obviously. I know you know that Keeneland's opening weekend is now it's Sunday through Tuesday, and listen, we've been there. We've been there in Saratoga, and they're trying times, and they're doing the best they can. And so, you know, look forward to a little dark day action on those Keeneland cards.
Yes,
and,
certainly.
Obviously, a lot of weather down at Oaklawn. Whether or not they're going to be able to race is up in the air, and we'll find out when they make the decision. It has nothing to do with us. So head over to NYRA Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. We have a 20% exacta bonus at NYRA Bets. I'm going to opt in for that while I am doing these, Greg. That's how, just to show people how easy it is. A complete idiot up here is actually able to opt in for that. Now, the next one, Eddie's very excited about this. Very excited. He was so excited that he thought we had a cross-country Big Five today. The feeder contest means the Saturday contests are back. So the feeder contest Friday, you have until early in the day on Friday, $40 buy-in. You can qualify for the $300 contest. If you don't qualify or you don't want to play the feeder contest, of course, Saturday we have that $300 contest. They are back, and you've got to play them through NYRA Bets. Head over to nyrabets.com/contests. I did opt in. I was really proud of myself.
Well done.
So I feel as though I've accomplished something today. That's kind of, I should probably go home now at this point. We're back. Full day coverage is back. 1 to 5 today, covering all the action today. You and Acacia's back. Glad to have Acacia back as well. And of course, Maggie's back in time. I haven't seen Maggie in quite a while. She does quite a job heading down to Oaklawn. I think she made 3 or 4 trips there this winter. And the Mig's going to be here this weekend. We're excited. He's coming. You know he's coming this weekend?
Wow, no.
Yeah, you and the 3 of us are going to be on for a while together on Saturday. I'm very excited.
Very
So the
excited.
band is back together.
Yeah, I miss Mig a lot.
We all miss the Mig, and we are happy to hear that he's going to be back. And of course, he'll head back to Oaklawn. They have a big weekend next too. Yes.
With Where's My Ring running.
Where's My Ring? Yeah.
Someone else in that race?
Yeah, but really incidental. It's really all about Where's My Ring. And the Count Fleet.
Oh, Torpedo Anna, yeah.
Yeah, the Count Fleet as well. And we made an announcement. There's some races that are going to be win and you're in races basically for our stakes later in the season. And with a whole slew of races. But the Count Fleet will be one for the True North up in Saratoga on Belmont Stakes Week. Which, by the way, I don't know if you know, it's June 6th. And did you see the thing from the Mets game that I put up on Twitter?
Inside joke.
Great on the Mets broadcast, Gary Cohn was talking about going to Calder and Hialeah, and back in the day, and then it morphed into Ron Darling saying he had June 6th off and he's coming to Saratoga to the Belmont Stakes. He said he'd never been to Saratoga. Keith followed up and said he had never been there. Keith Hernandez, and then Gary Cohn had, of course, nothing but good things to say about Saratoga.
We should throw out a first pitch for the races.
I'm thrilled. I think Ron is great. I mean, I love the Mets. I'm a big Mets fan, but I also love their broadcast team. Yeah. And I think Ron is I think they're all great, but I think Ron is sensational. And so excited that he's coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So looking forward to that as well. And as we all are, it's only 2 months away.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. 9 weeks, I guess, from this weekend. And it all comes fast because once you sort of get close to the Derby, nicer weather, things start rolling along. Today's first race, however, we'll see what happens. You've got 2 horses for Chad Brown coming out of the 6th race on February 23rd, and we'll highlight Bell's Beach. I thought Bell's Beach ran very well. The rail was good this day. Bell's Beach was wide the whole way. However, I picked her second to Rising Inflation because Rising Inflation looked to me like a horse that just needed the race and was much farther back. Picks up Dylan Davis. Dylan Davis is back.
Welcome back,
after
Dylan.
being back. Glad to see him riding as well. And I'm also hoping that Dylan's aggressive and goes to the front and she can wire the field. I'm not trying to beat the 2 Chad Brown horses. You are.
They're going to be tough in here, no question. I think Bell's Beach is going to be very, very tough. But I understand the case you're making with rising inflation. And the fact that she won at 1 1/8 as well, and she did it on the front end, makes her dangerous. And I do think she will give a much better showing than what we saw. Yeah, I'm a little confused. As Time Form said, the 2, 4, and 5 are going to be in the lead. Bell's Beach is going to be nowhere near the lead.
I didn't understand. I guess it's going the 1 1/8. I think that rising inflation has to be in front. And I'm not sure why your horse isn't going to be forward as well.
That's what I thought.
We'll take a look at Soundbite. My problem with Soundbite is I had that as a big good gold rail day that day. And I just thought this horse kind of took advantage of it a little bit in there. But, did drift off the rail. I just thought this was a much better field. And I kind of want to see her run this figure again. You're going to take a shot that she does. And she's going to drift from her 5-2.
Yeah, look, as we said, I think she can be much more forward, especially the fact that she's inside and that turn comes up almost immediately. Use that speed, try and get position. No matter what, though, she's going to get much better position than Bell's Beach in this race.
I agree.
And I just feel like she is moving in the right direction. Even though that race 2 back at 1 1/8 was not near as fast as this, I like the way she did it. She made a 3-wide move around the turn. She was finishing. And, obviously got a lot quicker in this next race. I got to see it again to sort of believe it because she did take a big jump. But I think she is just going in the right direction now as a 4-year-old with the this is her 4th start of the year.
And she's going to be much bigger than her current 5-2. That's not. I also think Bell's Beach is going to be favored by post time.
Oh, no,
she should be
I would
favored.
agree, yeah.
I mean, if they were the 2-1 and 5-2, I'd take Bell's Beach at the bigger price. Gold Lightning's a funny horse trying the dirt for the first time because she's actually got pedigree to handle the dirt. So I'm not convinced that she can't. And for those wondering, she was entered earlier this winter and scratched. It was an ownership snafu. It wasn't anything to do with her physicality.
Okay.
It was because of the long owner or something was listed. And God knows you can't let the public find out about that a week before and still let them run. Not our decision. Race number 2. Well, the biggest problem with race number 2 handicapping was asking yourself who's going to run. It got a lot easier when Friday's card was drawn and Trade Secrets entered, so you knew she wouldn't run. As it turns out, only one horse came out, which is pretty good. You have got the number 3. I went a little wacky in here. You're going to try She's a Bernardini. You missed the 48-1 last time, so you're looking for a little 4-1 today.
I love it when I miss a big price and come back much shorter.
1/10 of the price.
Yes.
That's how you make money gambling. I mean, contrary to popular appeal, you want to get them at the much shorter prices.
It's rare that you capitalize, when you miss the wedding and
that was quite a wedding.
Yes.
That was a winner every step of the way.
There's a lot of things to like. So, yes, it was the career best effort, but it was the 4-year-old debut coming back. It was also adding blinkers for the very first time and running down a lone speed who, yes, was weakening late. But outside of the runner-up in there, nobody else was really making up a lot of ground in that race.
If she runs her last race, I want to see it to believe it, but she's going to be tough in here. I don't disagree with that.
I do think the 1A and the 2 in here could set it up nicely for her if they battle up front.
I have to think there's going to be some speed from those horses. And while Chasing Daylight, who I have 3rd and you have 2nd, is the horse to beat. Well, wait a second. Isn't the 2B going to go as well? I mean, the 2B is pretty quick, and I have to imagine she's going to go in here. And I also agree the 1A's got to go. I just feel like with Chasing Daylight, A, there's other speed, and B, okay, she is dropping off a cliff. But how many times has she been in races where she was the controlling speed and on paper she looked like, well, today she's going to win.
Yeah.
And she just loses every single one of them. It's been a long time between drinks for her, and I don't want her as the favorite here.
I agree.
Especially with that entry mate who I wouldn't bet a nickel on.
The entry mate's, to me, no offense, but a complete phony. That one race where that standalone race that nothing's ever
Super
close
Gold Rail.
to it.
Super Gold Rail.
Super biased that day, yeah. It put a line through that race, the 82 buyer.
The amazing thing is the amount of money people have lost on this horse since then. And that's, she's a very good example of the power of a bias for horse players that take advantage of them.
Yeah.
Because anybody that was really paying attention to the track completely threw her out of her next 2 starts, yet she was 4-5 and 7-5.
Yeah.
In 2 races, she had no chance in. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. Helps you, look, every little bit saved helps.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, where am I going with my 2 idiotic picks who you have nowhere in your top 4? Well, I was heartened when my friend David Aragona picked the 5 as well, and I texted him and I said, "You're sticking with Dulce Sarah even though I picked her." He said, "I actually hadn't looked at your picks." We were laughing about it, and it's like I know she's a 2 for 42. First of all, Deluro's horses have been running, and I don't know. Like, isn't she in a position to maybe take advantage of some pace in this race? Good to see Javier back as well,
Yes.
riding her. And, I mean, you look at her. She's run plenty of figures that are in the vicinity of most of the horses in here. She's run well at a mile in the past. She's going to get some pace to run at. Who am I supposed to care about?
No one scares you that
Right.
much in this race,
So
really.
I'm
right?
going to take a shot with her, and I'm going to use Baron as Bourbon as well, switching over to Michelle Giangulio. Maybe just getting that barn change will help a little bit in here on a horse that's obviously gone off form, but she did catch a muddy sealed track in her race last time. She was way above her head. She's taking a massive drop here.
She intrigued me a little
Yeah.
bit, and I know I didn't put her in my top four. Those last two were just too hard for me to get past, but I would use her in multi-race
Well,
sequences.
if you think Chasing Daylight is bettable at a short price, don't you want to take a little bit of a look at her dropping off a cliff as well at a much, much bigger price, switching to Michelle? So
Yeah.
I'm going there. I thought that was kind of a fun race, actually. Race number 3. You are going to try to beat Catchphrase, right? You've got her second. We'll show her race 2 back. And I know her last race was bad, but I mean, Kendrick, who is 6 short of 4,000, and you always feel like you're jinxing these guys when you talk about it. And I remember so many riders. Was it like Luis Saez or somebody that was like 1 away, and it took forever to get the win?
I think it might have been Saez.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, like, we need to stop talking about it. This poor guy, like, we're betting him. Kendrick's going in the front with this horse, and I'm not trying to beat her at a very, very short price, but have at it if you
She
want to
is
try to beat her.
so far and away the speed of the speed. She's taking this big drop in class. She's so much the horse to beat. Having said that, I don't think she should be 3 to 5 in here.
She is a bit of a phony. She's a bit of a phony. She's
Yeah.
burned a lot of money, this horse, at short prices. That's very fair.
In the first 3 starts of her career, the last one was terrible. She ran, the numbers I look at, the exact same figure every time out. So there's no improvement.
No.
And She's Cool, she's actually run that same figure a couple of times in her career, and she's put together back-to-back numbers where she's paired up a number that's right in the vicinity of the best
No question
number from
about it.
Catchphrase.
Yeah, no matter what figures you look at.
Look, she's got. And what if That Dare's Right presses a little bit from the rail? I mean, I know the 5's quicker.
I'll tell
But
you,
any
Kendrick's
kind of
not
starch
supposed to be looking to take any prisoners with
in
this
the
filly.
5,
She don't want company, Catchphrase.
No.
She does not want company. I'm very impressed with what we've seen from Amelia Green so far. And I know she just started
Yeah.
her own, and, it takes a long time for somebody to, build up. But she worked for Todd Pletcher for a long time, and if you work for Todd, you obviously know what you're doing. And, I mean, she's taken over the training of some okay horses. She hasn't exactly been given a whole bunch of stakes winners, and I think she's
Yeah.
done very well with the horses. She's
No, she's been a great
improved
story on the
horses. She
circuit,
really
no
has.
question.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I agree. I picked her, but she's a bit of a phony. She's a bit faint-hearted. Race number 4. Well, Linda scratched 1. It's okay, Linda. To be fair, she entered 2. I'm not surprised one of them came out of this race. And I don't love Brazina, but I don't know. I like Linda off the claim. I'm always a little leery of claiming from Jamie Ness. She's had some success and some not. The problem is if you don't take her, where are you going in here? What horse do I want? Do I want My First Love as the second choice? A horse that was really bad last time out, to be honest with you. She really did not run well when dropped down. I think Fernando Abreu's terrific. I can improve her, but feels like Linda dropped her, and claiming from Linda, where are you supposed to go in here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe Sweet Gracie a little bit, but I think Brazina is going to be very tough in this spot. She's got races at multiple different tracks where she's run figures that are just so much far and away better than anybody in this field. She's put back-to-back figures together where she's paired up numbers. I think that means she's going to move forward today. And you look at that last start, last time out, she's actually behind a group of 3 horses in front of her, and then she tried to swing to the outside, and the eventual winner beat her to that spot and then got that spot and kept on going and won the race. She had to duck back into the inside. I feel like if she could have got outside, potentially she could have won that race.
I don't disagree with that. And she's got to be forward with Eric. She's not that slow. Sweet Gracie is a Jamie Ness horse off the claim, and I don't think Jamie Ness needs any introduction to people watching the show. This is a guy who puts up insane numbers, especially routers off the claim. But I looked up his stats off the claim in the dirt at NYRA. It's a small sample size, but he's 0 for 7 with 3 hitting the board, and 6 of them were short prices. I don't think he's 0 for 7 at anywhere else in the country off the claim. And also short prices. He's 0 for 2 it was shippers. Now, one of them was a ridiculously big price in the Beldame and had no chance. But the other one finished 8th at 3 to 1. So it's not like his off the claim number magic is working here at NYRA. And that's one of the reasons I wasn't thrilled with that horse.
Yeah. And, to me, too, it was just it was sort of a little bit of a one-number start last time out. It came somewhere else out of town. Got to prove it.
I agree. All the other numbers, this horse is
Yeah.
pretty slow. And Brazina just seems like she's a bit of an omni-fig, where every race she runs is just faster than all the races that everybody else runs. So I'm not trying to beat her as well. We'll take a break. Greg and I will be back with the late pick 4.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With NYRA Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with NYRA Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NYRABets.com.
We're back. Greg Wolf and Andy Serling. And Greg called me on Monday and said, that 5th race, he said, I know everybody's talking about the Wood and the Bluegrass this weekend, but the 5th race on Thursday, I can't wait to discuss this with you, because how can you not just like them all? It's really hard to know.
It gives you a headache a little bit, doesn't it?
You
this
like
race?
that? You like that 35 buyer, though, for One Vision. For a barn
here's
that's
the
been
deal.
pretty live lately.
I'm making up for my 48 to 1 down to 7 to 2 here with a horse who won at 5 to 1 last start and it's 12 to 1.
Will definitely be
here.
a bigger price today.
I'm doing the reverse engineering
Okay.
angle. This horse, I think, I know Time Form says the 3 is going to be in the lead. I think the 2 is going to be in the lead. So this one
I agree with you.
made the lead sprinting last start, took
I
the
agree with
blinkers off last start and won. And it was a slow time, but I think gets to the front again. And there's no world beaters in this spot. I think it's going to be able to keep on going. And you'd see that aggressive drill again. Could have been pushed and shoved to do it. I don't know. I don't know if it was good or not, but it was a very quick bullet, fast as a 65, which makes me think they want this one on the engine.
I agree this horse is supposed to be the speed. Now, whether or not that helps the horse remains to be seen, but I agree looking at the Time Form base protector. See, that's one of the reasons I like the 5. I thought Key 2 was faster than the 3 as well. Listen, I'm not knocking a big price in here. We'll take a look at Strand Road winning 2 back, and I thought the win 2 back for Strand Road, the one at Ackwood, I thought was good enough to win here. Now, obviously, you have to ask yourself what happened last time. I don't think this horse likes moisture in the track, and there was a couple of sprinkles. There's
like
no
parks.
moisture in the track. Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, no, in no way was this horse running well, but this horse was basically eased the 3/8 pole, so the margin of victory, defeat is a little bit exaggerated. And I thought if this horse could run back to this race, was good enough to win, and that was really all I want. Because the reality of this race is, it's very hard to really like anybody. And, you can say, yes, Book It with Dad is dropping precipitously, didn't get particularly good rides down at Laurel, but the big figure this horse ran was on a sloppy sealed track. Now, obviously, what's that? Book It with a Dad.
Yeah.
What'd I say?
Book it with Dad.
Oh, did I?
I think so, yeah. Anyway, not important.
What is it? I'm thinking of a bod. It's not a bod. I just didn't want to take this horse as the favorite. You don't have the horse anywhere in there. Or my horse anywhere in there.
Yeah, I
Wow,
did
we've
not.
got them all covered.
I like the 3 a lot more than I like obviously I don't know the 1 in there. But again, this race,
Three's
there's
the horse to beat.
no
dropping
one
back.
who would surprise me in the least. And the biggest price morning line is 5 to 1? Yeah,
I
5 to 1.
I won't be shocked the horse you have third that I have nowhere wins, to be honest. That
Yeah.
horse is consistently running numbers or at least within hailing distance. This is there's just no form in here. There's just no form. There really isn't. There's nobody to say, well, if this horse can get back. I guess you could say the 1 gets back to the 63 buyer. The problem is the sloppy sealed track, and every other figure is lower. And not to say he can't win regardless.
But that's sort of the outlier, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to hope that Strand Road gets an aggressive ride from Katie, is in a stalking position here, and gets back to that race 2 back. That's all.
Starts the pick 4, by the way.
It does. The late pick 4. It also is the second leg of the second pick 5. And it closes out the early pick 5 on our 8 race card. Race number 6, I picked Bad Boy Butch. I'm not embarrassed to admit it. And my one thing here is I really don't want Very Satisfactory. And I'll tell you something. I'm going to disagree with David. And he's probably right. But are people really going to go back to this guy? And this is 2 races back on one of the greatest chandelier acts in the absolute history. Now, I had picked this race out, suppose the last one, because I also wanted to show Bad Boy Butch, who ran so well in here. I mean, this is one of the most epic hangs ever, and then his 1-2 last time, and really just sat outside the winner and had absolutely nothing. Wouldn't you rather have McCaw, a horse who at least ran a couple of fast races going back, than this horse at a short price? This horse wins, I lose. I would use 5-7s here and not this horse. I do not want any part of this horse. He wins without me.
Yeah, it's rare. Like, if I'm playing multi-race sequences, and there's going to be he's going to attract a lot of money because he's hit the board. He makes it close a lot. It's Brad Cox. I'm fine not using him at all. I'm done.
I mean, I don't love some long shot. If I had a long shot in the sequence, I might have him as a C somewhere just to back myself up.
I've had enough.
I agree.
I don't believe in him.
Brad Cox and Sandy Goldfarb have had this horse. They do nothing but win, and it's like when barns that win all the time have horses that keep losing at short prices, they're a good bet against. And talk about Remember the Chief, who I'm not confident in, but he is second off a layoff at the very least.
Yeah, look, I love the fact it's blinkers coming off, horse with speed, and stretching out as well. That's the third part of that component in here, that he's quick. Obviously, McCaw, we know good chance he might be a little quicker. But remember, the Chief can sit just off him. I hope Eric Cancel is aggressive and gets this horse at least into position right off of McCaw, if not out in front. If he has the ability to get to the lead, take it. But if not, be right there and be aggressive from that outside post.
I don't disagree. And Eddie, thank you for doing those replays in that order. We went out of order, and I didn't even need to cue you. You're stepping it up. I know. After the early thing with the cross country Big 5, Eddie's getting his game back together. It's a good thing. He's trying to get lunch or something. So anyway, let's go to McCaw when he got beaten in the nose at Churchill. I'll tell you what my biggest reservation with this horse is. That this horse was claimed away from Joe Sharp. Joe Sharp, in my estimation, is one of the toughest guys to claim from. Mm-hmm. And you see a lot of good trainers claim from him and not do well. And, okay, the horse is a little bit tough, first off the claim, but avoided claim. But it does seem like these kind of horse for Linda. And, something was pointed out to me that's interesting. David Argona said this to me, that it was interesting. You don't see Linda use the waiver a lot. And this horse is the waiver. Now, my response to him was, I wouldn't be so sure if owner Roddy Valente wanted to use the waiver more than Linda, maybe. I don't know the answer. I could have texted and asked either one, but it doesn't really matter. Regardless, you have to admit this horse has races that will just drown this field.
Yeah. Mary Lou Whitney bred.
Yes.
Bird Song, by the way.
It's a great Grateful Dead song, too.
What is?
Bird Song.
Okay.
It's about Janis Joplin.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Remind me, I'll listen to it after the show.
Bird Song, a half to Birdtown and
I believe so.
Yeah, and is it also Birdstone? Might be.
Okay, we'll have to look that up.
Birdstone is one of the most unfairly unrecognized horses because people say, "Oh, you beat Smarty Jones." You kind of wonder what, and this is no knock on Smarty Jones, who obviously was terrific, but that Derby run in the slop, there were a lot of horses that didn't show up, and he couldn't run in a sloppy track. Birdstone, he's a damn good horse. I mean, did Smarty run a better race than Belmont? Yeah, but it's not as big a margin as people seem to suggest.
Yeah. And I have no idea if this is true, but I've read about it so many times. And it wasn't about that. It was about a Travers win that Mary Lou Whitney stable had. She was on a boat with John Hendrickson and a couple of friends, and they were talking about how they were going to win, I believe, the Whitney the next year. And I'm wondering if that was maybe.
I thought they were always retiring this horse after a street.
No, not this horse. I'm talking about different
Birdstone. Horse. Oh, really?
And I wonder if that maybe was the captain of the ship that they were on when they were coming up with that plan together. But anyway, we're going to try and find out because we're going to get in touch with Norm.
Yeah, we got to talk to Norm. And, of course, with Captain Cook, we were talking about off camera, Captain Cook, who will be vying for favoritism in the Wood, even though he's purchased by Vinny Viola, in the dispersal, he's sort of the last big horse running for Mary Lou Whitney because he was bred by them, and John ran the horse. And of course, John passed away way too early last summer. So I love that link in that horse, and he's pretty good. I think he's the horse to beat over
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez. I was surprised David made Rodriguez the favorite because it's the Baffert factor.
Yeah, it's Baffert. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think he's the horse to beat as well.
See what happens in the 6. Excuse me, race number 7 at 1 mile and 3/16. You and I agree in this race on Peak, and we'll take a look at Peak's last race. I don't know. I mean, I think Mazmak is going to be tough in the Excelsior this weekend.
I agree, yeah.
This
Won
horse-
4 of his last 5.
They must be mad at Linda in Kentucky with this one because she claimed that she's doing really well with it.
Uh-oh.
I know.
They should create a rule.
They have to
against
change
her
another
doing
rule.
that.
Change
So,
another rule.
This horse is interesting. So the last 2 starts, both at 1 mile and 1/8, he's put up the best figures of his career. I think he's going to move forward off those. But you look at where it go all the way back to the beginning where he started. He actually started on synthetic. He was 0 for 2. He went to a wet track. He was 0 for 3. Then they tried him a couple of times on grass, including at 1.5 miles. So now he's 0 for 5. Then finally he gets a fast dirt track at Keeneland. And look at that. He actually showed some life for the first time in his career.
Good point.
In career start number 6. Now finally he's getting fast tracks or fast-ish and getting a little bit more distance. And I think he's coming into his own.
I think that's perfectly fair. And the other thing is, there's a lot of horses I don't like in here. I mean, is Good Skate impossible? I assume not. He got an absolute dream trip to beat Dr. Kraft last time, layoff or not. I have not seen Othello run a race that suggests that he's good enough to win in
I
here.
haven't either.
So I didn't particularly like any of those horses outside of him. McAllen is a horse, and we'll take a look at McAllen winning last time. The problem McAllen has is that in general, he has sort of gait issues, and he lags behind fields, and he got a supersonic pace to close into here. And today, the horses he has to beat, they have speed. It doesn't appear to be a particularly fast pace, so I don't trust him.
Yeah, it was a pretty intriguing comeback, though, off a long layoff, this performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, but look at the pace in there.
It was hot.
46
Yeah.
and 1, 22 and 4, and this race totally collapsed. You could argue that the second place finisher, Cadillac, as it turned out, moved a little soon. Listen, I'm not saying he can't win. He can. And Magical Ways, who I have second, you have fourth, he just doesn't win, but he is fast enough to win. Why were you that much against him?
I'm not. I thought a few others had upside over him. I think he is going to move forward a little bit, and if he does, it's going to put him in the mix. I think he's definitely a player. I'm definitely scared of him, but I just liked a few others a lot better. I think we talk about Good Skate, and yeah, I threw him in the mix. One for McAllen. I think he moves forward off the bench off a good effort, and I realized it was a supersonic pace, but I still thought it was a productive comeback. Good Skate has that big race too against Ben Duke back there where he ran just off the charts fast.
I know.
Maybe that race. Was that a weird track that day?
Yes,
That was a huge number.
I think he had a little bit of a bias in his favor.
But he'd run a big number before, a couple
I know,
starts
with
before
the
that.
benefit of a bias as well. He came up a good rail that day on a muddy track. I've never particularly liked this horse. He has outperformed at times, but he's usually had a lot of good things happen for him. I don't think Rungius is totally ridiculous in here. He's going to be forward, and he's second off a layoff. It didn't run that badly. My problem with Rungius is there's too many horses that have run faster figures than his best figure. So he's going to really have to step it up and hope nobody runs their better races.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You don't have him in the top 4, so I don't think you disagree. And then the 8th comes along. And
Oh, boy.
how long did you look at this race? Because we both picked a horse who's the morning line favorite and Sky Runner who may win. And, one of the, what?
Can I ask you a quick question? How many times did you wind up changing your pick in here at all?
Well, in my mind, I did.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, I finally wrote them down. This is the one that I gave the picks for last because Sky Runner is going to be very tough to beat based on his first 2 races. But to be fair, he sucked last time. But he is running against much worse horses than he's ever run against. But his last race was bad.
It was, but again.
Her last race,
yeah.
excuse me.
And you go back to the first 2, though. I mean, Monetary Monarch came back and won it's New York bred A Other Than, improved 8 buyer points, ran a 73 buyer. That splashy race had catchphrase in it, who I know is, look, I told you I'm not impressed with, but been facing a lot better.
I think Catchphrase would win in here. I would not be against her here.
Yes.
The thing is, you've got 2 horses for Michelle Nevin. Welcome Back Babe, who's got Christopher Elliott. Maybe it's, but you've got Manny riding this one, Houdini's Bride. Michelle does not, and we'll take a look at Adriana's Bride. That was a cue, Eddie. You were doing so well. You really were. My problem with this is Michelle's numbers off layoffs are bad, but she does have good numbers with short price, with favorites. Now, this horse isn't projected to be a favorite, so we'll see. I thought these
would
horses
have been my
shorter.
top pick, Houdini's Bride, but yeah, the layoff was the question. I love 2 sprints, stretching out in distance, but we haven't seen this horse since May 16th of last year, so it's not really relevant in this situation because it's almost like this horse is starting fresh over again.
Yeah, I just don't trust these horses. And those were not good races either. You know, you look at some of the horses they ran against. I guess with Welcome Back Babe, I mean, the one thing I remember about Welcome Back Babe, the 5, is she was way against that huge gold rail on August 1st. I know she was eased, but still. And they give her an excuse for that. And she did run these horses have run by her. This horse ran a 55 by her 2 back. She runs a 55 by her, Welcome Back Babe. She's going to win in all likelihood. So I've got them second, third like you. I just don't trust them. And you and I saw this race, obviously, with our picks, but I think similarly, because NYRA, is that a play on words, something, NYRA? Or I'm just wondering.
I don't know. We need to find out.
I know that this horse was a little against the track last time and ran pretty well. I thought broke okay. The stumbled start wasn't that big a deal. But I also thought this was a very contentious pace, and wasn't this horse just picking up the pieces at the end? But to be fair, it was a little against the track. I just don't like the race that she's coming out of.
It was slow, too. It was a really slow race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a terrible race. I mean, not that this is a good one, but I don't know. And this thing is 11 buyer, 19 buyer, 32 buyer, 47 buyer. I guess the argument for her is, well, she's improving. And maybe she is.
Maybe.
But I thought she was the one. See, David's got her shorter than the 5 and 6. Is some of it that the money on Michelle's 2 horses are going to be split up a little bit?
Yeah, that could be part of it.
I think she should be the 4th choice in here.
I agree.
I think both the 5 and
Yeah.
6 are more likely to win than she is. I'll put it that way. It feels like
People see a next out winner. Look, they see the just missed by a half length at the level. But yeah, I'm with you. It was a slow figure. 47 buyer in here is maybe outside of probably Welcome
good
Back
enough
Babe.
to win here.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
But
The winner improved in her next win, but she was also 6-5 in the slop at Parks.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much I want to make of that race. The 3rd horse ran 7 buyer points worse in her next start, so I'm not really convinced that was that good a race, and the 47 could be a little on the high side.
yeah, none of us have Khalees Storm. I wouldn't be surprised if Khalees Storm stepped up.
The last figure is good enough to be a competitor in here. I guess the horses run okay in a mile. No, you're right. That horse ran okay last time. I had her open. I don't know why I didn't really like her, but I guess I didn't like her because I didn't like the field she was in last time.
Mm-hmm.
She finished behind Nikki Brainburst, and that's never a good sign to me. Have you had a chance to look at the big races at all this weekend?
It's fun. Yeah, the horse I'm actually most excited about seeing on Saturday on the terrific card is Crazy Mason.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've got a big love affair for him.
Overcoming that massive bias when he won from another zip code.
That was a crazy race.
And now he's put together back-to-back wins. Very excited about him. But no, I've taken a look at it. It's going to be a tremendous day.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun day.
I want Captain Cook to do well.
So do I.
I want to see him in the Derby.
I agree. I want him to do well. I think that Hill Road, Chad Brown's horse, is going to run a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Chad about it, and he said, listen, I had him nowhere near cranked up for that first start.
Really?
So, he's probably going to run better, whether or not he's good enough, because I thought there should be at least an honest pace in there. And I'm not giving up on Rodriguez. Rodriguez is not projected to be the speed. There is some real speed in here, but don't you think Baffert and Mike Smith and the rail,
They're going to go.
they're just
They
going.
are going to go.
Bob is not afraid to
Yeah.
go too fast early to get the lead.
Yeah. And look, at least he comes in with an undefeated record. Grande, what do you think?
I didn't like Grande. I thought the trip was against him. I thought there was other speed inside of him, and he beat a horse that was not particularly effective last weekend in one of the Derby preps, and I just thought he was a cut below these. But listen, he's 2 for 2. He could improve a little bit. It's not like the horses that are favored are running big figures in here. I thought that the other Dutro horse, McAfee.
Yeah,
He
they
did
have
not-
to torpedo Anna.
He did not run that badly in the Gotham.
If it comes up really wet, though, he may not run.
The good news is it's not.
Okay, good.
I mean, the weather forecast has about 1/10 of an inch of rain hours earlier.
Okay.
So
Good news.
the weather forecast, people have a problem. They look at their phone and they see 65% chance of rain. But sometimes the 65% chance of rain is rain that's going to come at 10 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
or it's at 3 in the morning, and it's not that. It doesn't say 65% chance, and that means there's always an inch and a half of rain. And I had to yell at Ray Pollock yesterday because he put up the forecast, and I went, Ray, did you at least open your phone? So I decided to really annoy him, and I sent him a screenshot of every single day, which was no rain.
Good.
So Ray made some crack about there being a concert or something, and maybe they'd cancel or something. But I like Ray, so I've let him off the hook for that. Anyhow, we're done. You know what's funny? To be fair to people, while we're a little bit sensitive to it because it was such a frustrating event on Sunday, I understand people making jokes about it because it's so crazy.
Yeah,
to have
but
a
a lot of
cancellation
the
of
comments too is people who were not here, and you didn't. If you were here,
Right.
you would have understood. But I understand making fun of it. Yes, I agree with you. But if you were here, you would have understood.
Yeah, and listen, I'm incredibly sympathetic, as I know you are, because we've all been there too. You spend time handicapping a card. You've got a couple of horses you want to bet on. You're excited, and listen, when it rains and they're scratched or something happens, okay, but. Man, that's not exactly the kind of cancellation that you're really expecting. It was a big shock. So I'm extremely sympathetic to everybody, the trainers whose horses
weren't
they
happy
brought
about it
over.
either.
Right, every bit of it was bad for everybody, especially to have something happen was badly handled by another party, and that's out of your control. And there's only so much you can do. And I get people being frustrated, and we'll do whatever we can to make it right and run those races at the very least. Greg, thanks so much. Head over to NYRA Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code MATCH200, and we will match the $200 of your initial deposit. 20% exacta bonus. It's so easy, even I did it. I don't know if Eddie can do it, but we could ask him to try. You can. Eddie says he can do it. I don't have any proof. I'm going to want him to show me that he can. We've got, and this is it, it's very exciting. This means spring is here. The contests are back. Friday feeder contest, Saturday contest as well. You have until early in the day tomorrow. The feeder qualify for the $300 contest, $40. If you don't want to do that or you don't qualify, same deal for Saturday for the Wood Memorial. You've got to play, though, through NYRA Bets, nyrabets.com/contests. Also, 1 to 5, the full day coverage is back. Kyle, you going to be upstairs with us?
Finally.
All right. Not only is the coverage back, but Kyle's going to be with us. That makes it even more exciting. We are done. Chris Griffin's just getting started. He will have, in just a few moments, a reprise, the Scratch and Changes. Have a great day.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With NYRA Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with NYRA Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NYRABets.com.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aqueduct. At this time, we ask that you please rise, remove your caps as we honor America with the playing of the national anthem. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the New York Racing Association and live racing at Aqueduct. Start of the spring here in New York. 8 races on today's Thursday afternoon card. The track is rated fast. Here are today's scratches and changes at Aqueduct. Race 1. Beginning of the early pick 5 is clear. No changes in today's first. Race 2, beginning of the early pick 4. Scratch the 1, Trade Secret. Scratch the 3X, LeGrot. Race 3, start of the pick 6. The 6 is 3 pounds overweight. Race 4, start of the late pick 5. Scratch the 3, Equus. Scratch the 3 in race 4. Race 5, start of the late pick 4. No changes. Race 6, scratch the 4, Bad Boy Butch. Scratch the 4 in race 6. Race 7, no changes. Race 8, no changes. 8 races on today's Thursday afternoon card at Aqueduct. The track is rated fast, and coming up, start of the early pick 5. Race 1, 1 mile and an eighth. Race 1, track is fast. At Aqueduct, it's next. Good luck.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With NYRA Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with NYRA Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NYRABets.com.